our stories to lift each other, give hope to push us further, and encourage one another. Behind the scenes beauty.
Sir John, global makeup artist, creative director, and activist. He's worked with major artists such as Pat McGrath and Charlotte Tilbury at fashion shows nationwide. He's worked with some of the most notable faces in the world, from Naomi Campbell, Iman, Mary J. Blige, Celine Dion, and the one he's most known for, Beyonce, who he has worked with since 2010. He has served as global ambassador and creative director for L'Oreal Paris, an advisory board member of the Black in Fashion Council. He has done partnerships with Barbie, Glossier, and MAC, and his work has graced the pages of Vogue, Glamour, Elle, Vanity Fair, and In Style, just to name a few. He was also co-executive producer of a show on Lifetime called American Beauty Star, where he served as mentor to the contestants. Sir John is taking us behind the scenes. All right, so we have with us Sir John. Hey, Sir John.
Hi, what's up, brother? How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing? As a creative, let's have a mental check-in. How you feeling with Corona? How you feeling?
I love the mental check-in. I do something called a temperature check daily. And when I say temperature check, we look at our weather report to figure out, do I need to put on a jacket? Do I need to put on some boots? Some shorts today, pom-poms, whatever. And
not poo-poo.
But we don't realize that I need to check in with myself to see how am I internalizing, how am I processing, how am I dealing. So I love that question, and mental health is really, really important to me.
Yeah.
I do so much of what I do and the place I come from is about like leaning into yourself and connecting with your mental first, because beauty is an extension of how we want to feel. Beauty is emotional. So to answer your question, I'm doing well. I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling recharged, and it's spring. We have longer days, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah. You are that. I've noticed when you talk to people about beauty, you always talk about what they're taking in. Carrot juice. I one thing I've learned, you are a proponent of carrot juice.
Carrot juice, kale is great for circulation, dark circles. I mean, beets are really great for probiotics, are my jam, So I do believe in an inside out or 360 degree of like wellness, It starts inside. It's an inside job. It's not superficial. Beauty is something, or not even just beauty, because, when we say beauty, we take out men. A lot of men don't feel attached to that word, but looking after yourself is it's something that you'll have to do for the rest of your life, So looking after yourself inside is what really counts.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sir John, normally when we do behind the scenes beauty, we go through these, strenuous conversations of your whole journey. And I studied your journey, and I know that you come from Buffalo, New York.
Yes, sir.
I know that you used to work in the strip clubs.
I have, yes, sir.
I know that your first celebrity client was Naomi Campbell.
Yes, you know all of it. Okay, come on.
I know that you really started out with your mentor, Charlotte Tilbury and Pat McGrath, and you did all the fashion shows, all of that stuff. So I did my research, and I feel I feel connected to you because there are a lot of core values that I noticed, that I picked up along the way, that I see in what contributes to your success.
Okay. Where do you feel that? Where do you feel those values are?
I will say this: your work ethic, and your work ethic. When you were doing an interview and you were talking about making sure when you get there that you make yourself indispensable, that you make sure that you make your presence needed, and you're like, I'm going to do the best. I'm going to be there. I'm going to have your station set up. I'm going to make sure that before you even reach for it, I got it. As you were building yourself, and that was my, I want to make sure that if I'm going to assist you, that I'm making your job the simplest possible, because what you put in, you get back.
You can't lead until you can effectively follow. So you can't be a great leader until you know what it's like to intuit the needs of that guy. So I was the best assistant. Like I used to assist Charlotte Tilbury, I used to assist Pat McGrath, but I made sure that I was the best assistant, and I made sure that if they needed coffee, I'm going to get coffee before they want it. If she's going to reach for a Q-tip after she's done applying eyeshadow, I'm already going to have it in my hand. I'm going to make sure as soon as we get into a venue and there's a show, like she's set up, and My whole thing is I need to create a need for myself. I need to create a destination for myself. I need to be a destination. Right. So, and that happens by outshining everyone else who is taking a break or who's just chilling.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I learned that from you. I realized like, oh, that's my way of thinking. Just treating people. You were even talking about how when you making sure the way you treat people, because you never realize those same people you have to come back in contact with. So you have a lot of character things that make me appreciate you on a whole larger scale than just all of your accolades that come with you. Like, I'm really big on the core of who people are, and you have an amazing core, and I appreciate that about you, friend.
Thank you, brother. You know, and we like to say, I do a lot of therapy. And even when I didn't have the money to go to therapy, I was actually, I'm sorry, my light is kind of weird today, but I was still like always trying to fix myself. When I say fix myself, work on me, and because I know that it's all directly correlated. We're creatives, it's all these things are connected to how we're dealing with ourselves, how we are healing ourselves, or like, for example, going into a job, if I'm having a lot of stuff happening and I'm not able to really compartmentalize and leave it there, I'm taking that with me. I'm going to leave it on my clients. I'm going to leave it on the people I'm around, and that will be my calling card, so the more I can check in with myself and like sort of separate any bad day or whatever that looks like. Listen, 2020 was a year of so much trauma, so much, we went through, we still go through as we see like stuff happen racially in terms of, we see so much in terms of socioeconomic differences and disparities between our communities, that chips away at us, our sense of self, so as much as I can continue to pour back into myself, the people I'm around when I'm on set, I love lifting people. I love healing, people. I love when people feel whole, so that's kind of like my thing, and even if I wasn't getting paid for it, even if no one knew I was doing it, it makes me feel good, so that's kind of my thing. So I appreciate you, or even the fact that you're even able to identify that within me, because it's a frequency, it's a vibe, and so that's what vibe. And we go way back. Yeah, we go back to the days of like, listen, June Ambrose introduced. Yeah. It was my sister, man. Her and her husband, I love them to death. They're like family. They are family. Yeah. And so you listen, I used to carry luggage. I was okay. I was happy to carry luggage for Charlotte, or to only do body makeup for Pat's team when I first got on, because I was like, listen, I'm just in the building. I'm in the space. Like, I'm in Paris. I'm backstage in Milan. Let's do it. Instead of thinking like, oh no, I want to only do. I knew that I just needed to meet the people, and that space will come. As long as I was in there doing what I needed to do, I didn't have any doubt that I was going to do it really well, So yeah.
Yeah. I also loved when you said that you are the last person most of the time that the talent or the talent sees. If they're going on a photo shoot, you're the last one doing that last final touch before the model goes on set or before they go on stage. So it's very important, the energy that you put into them. I love that.
Your energy impacts that space. Like, for example, I remember the Grammys and, when Beyonce was pregnant. And I just remember, like, I was putting gloss, when you're doing like 8-hour cream or gloss on the lids before they hit the runway or editorial, that's like the last thing before like curtains open. And so I just remember, so many times before a concert or before like, Joan walks on to like a runway or whatever that looks like, your energy is what they're taking it with them. So I'm gonna either give artificial enthusiasm if I'm having a bad day, or I'm actually gonna really try to connect with them and just let's do some jumping jacks. Right. How you feel? Like, look them in the eyes, make them feel something. There's so many makeup artists and hairstylists who do amazing hair, who do beautiful, jobs in the lanes that they're in, but no one wants to be around them. They don't make anyone feel anything. And I know that, where we are, we have a responsibility as a community of thought leaders, of beauty professionals, to make someone makes them feel whole, connected to themselves, but just in general, make them feel, so it's a missed opportunity when we are in these spaces and we don't allow someone to just get in touch with something, so yeah, that's kind of my thing, not to ramble on.
No, you're not rambling at all. I just also want to say that I really appreciate and I admire you for being so much of a trailblazer.
My name is Sir John, celebrity makeup artist.
I've had the longest cosmetics contract out of any makeup artist. ever, male makeup artists, you know. Or maybe there's like, you know, Gucci Westman possibly, or we look at some of the females, like I'm sure that they've had really long running engagement with those companies. But yeah, so now I started out as a makeup artist, celebrity makeup artist for L'Oreal Paris years ago. And they've been such a really amazing company to brand and work with, because they also have the similar values that I do, you know, in terms of worth and making sure women feel connected and know their worth. You know, we're at the 50-year mark of you're worth it. And at the time, that was something that, you know, women it doesn't matter where you are, if you're, you know, an at-home mom, or if you're someone who is basically at the executive level of your career, you can understand what that looks like. But yes, I'm with them now, and I'm the creative director for the US, and also still the makeup artist. And I believe that I'm the only person who's ever done that kind of thing from our community.
Yeah, and not pushed into the Black makeup artist for our new Black line of products. You know?
Oh no. So
that's what I appreciate. It's like global. You're across the board, everybody, all the makeup period.
Absolutely, I'm very vocal about you know, when I first started doing makeup, I wanted to make sure. Listen, everyone was making so much money doing other things like, you know, videos and things like that, and I wasn't making money as an editorial assistant. I was making $50 a day. It was like feed the children.
Yeah, and people don't realize. I think a lot of people think editorial, you know, magazines, or if you're getting the cover of Vogue, they must be paying you $5 million. People don't really understand that.
Everyone who works editorially, you all get an editorial rate. So when I say editorial rate, the model is making the same amount as the hairstylist, is making the same amount, mind you, for a cover story, you know, or something like that. Anything that you see in magazines, that's not money, it's advertising for us, you know? It's a calling card. So we all make $100 or something. But I remember working so much and just not making a lot, you know. So I started working and doing makeup in Queens at a strip club called Rivieras, and the girls sent me to Milan. You know, they put some money together and twerked me all the way to Italy for my first passport stamp. And then I found myself backstage at Prada, backstage at Dolce & Gabbana, at the Bulgari Hotel with Naomi. So, you know, that kind of happened. But I always made sure that I wanted the same things my white counterparts were offered, the same covers, the same contracts, the same clients, you know. So I didn't want, and the thing is, I wasn't running away from anything. I was able to work with Black women and give them the same caliber of beauty, of glam as my white counterparts were offering, white models, you know, backstage with Joan and Jordan Dunn and Anais Molly, like, the girls will wait.
Yeah.
But I would always make sure that, hey, listen, campaigning to normalize that when you're a makeup artist, you should just go to work. If you go to a hospital, you know, a doctor doesn't say, oh, I don't know if I can work with that type of skin, or I don't know if I can work on those type of bodies. No, they just go to work as a professional.
Right.
There's so many makeup artists who don't understand Black skin, who don't have to understand Black hair. And that's just been my fight for us, you know. I love the era we're in right now. It's because I love being unapologetically Black.
Right.
You know anything about my career right now, you know that, I was at every protest. I've been working with companies to make sure that I'm a cultural advisor to brands now, making sure that there's equity and diversity and this intersections that we're crossing, that brands see it, they know that this is not going anywhere. It's not an umbrella that you can walk through a storm with. No, this is the new normal. Everything that was existing no longer is going to exist, you know? So I think that when I really look back at what I want to be known for is glam and all the pretty stuff, but moving the needle when it comes to my people and, you know, how we occupy the space, how we are seen, you know, what we're offered, you know, the money that we're allowed to make, or we're seen, you know, should be the same, you know, and there should be a separation. There should be no hesitation.
Yeah, I noticed your Instagram says activist now, and I love that because you are really a representation for a lot of us. You're normally the one Black person in all white spaces. How have you really been able to navigate that? Like, and I also want to pair it with this question. Are you finding that they're receptive because of the times, or do you find like they truly want to learn, about how they can help push the movement forward?
Well, you know, the thing is, I want to say, a lot of us think, I just want to get back to one point you made, is that sometimes being the only Black person in the room is something that I hate. And when I say that is, we come from a generation prior before me they were happy, in fashion, being the only Black person in the room, being the only Black person backstage or whatever that looks like. That's not my thing. It's not like I will not normalize that. When I am here, I'm like, guys, what's up? Like, why am I the only opinion that, is coming from a multicultural background or has, something to say here that there should be so many more opinions, so many more cooks in the kitchen, so that's what I kind of advocate for. But in terms of your second part of the question was, how does that feel? Or I'm sorry.
Well, are you finding that they are, does it feel empty, or does it feel like they really genuinely, are trying to make a difference?
There is. So one thing is I talk about this often, and there's a lot of performance allyship. When I say performance allyship, companies or brands, some brands went kicking and screaming just to post a black square on last summer. And then some brands. This is the thing. I know that we're in a space where social media is so democratic. The democracy has the opinion, but democracy has the ability to make a brand great or tear them down. Big brands, large brands, because everyone has a voice. Everyone has something to say, and they should. And the beauty in the fashion industry would not be diverse or here where we are today if we were waiting on beauty and fashion. If we were waiting on the fashion industry, we would still be waiting. What's got us here is the ability to campaign or to make sure your voices are echoed and heard through community, through a hashtag, through a movement, through a protest, through raising your voice, through through holding back your dollar. So do brands want to be there? Some of them are apprehensive, and some of them, it's modern movement. It's the only way forward, So listen, no one wants to be pulled across the finish line. You want to be led by inspired thought, or led by your clients, led by your community of consumers, the people you want to buy your products. But everyone should see themselves within your product range. Everyone should see themselves, in making sure that they feel like they were on your radar when you were in the boardroom, when you were in the laboratories. So these are the conversations that I'm having, and this is my job. This is why I exist.
Yeah. So you have a list of accomplishments that vary you're an executive producer. You were an executive producer, if I'm correct.
It was co-executive producer at I was on American Beauty Star.
You just did a collaboration with Barbie. Did a whole that's crazy to me.
I love the Barbie thing too. I'll tell you about later.
Yeah, I actually definitely want to hear about that one.
Babe, yes, I love that's the most recent one. I love her. Oh my god.
Yeah, so I'm big on the look.
She matches my thing too. Come on, bring her back up.
I got this one too. She.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's my decoration. Ooh. But yeah, so I'm a huge fan of.
Me too, babe. You know what? I feel so blessed, brother. Disney, I remember doing the collaboration with Disney's The Lion King. I created a clip for them. Barbie, came about this year, and I love the fact that this is part of the things, conversations you and I have had about making sure and allowing ourselves to flower outside of just what we're known for. As a makeup artist, as a hairstylist, everyone wants to keep you in that space. It is hard sometimes to break away from that space if you've done it really well. But guys, continue to be curious, continue to ask questions, continue to represent your community and yourself really well. And then go after. I'm not sure how I got into contact with Mattel. It happened off of Instagram. I remember Shiona, who created this beautiful diverse collection, and someone said, "Oh, wouldn't it be cool if Sir John did the makeup?" And then, next thing I know, I'm getting a phone call from Mattel. So, it's been great. But one thing I do know is that I'm not burdened. I'm actually happy to carry, not weight, but to carry the solid package and what that looks like of us, of us making sure that we are occupying that space. When I get in these rooms that you're talking about, right? I'm not there. They get me, and then I'm like, oh, it's Smiling SJ. Right. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually make this a really equitable environment. Not for me. I don't count. When I say I don't count, please don't perform in front of me in terms of, oh, we're so diverse and this and that. I don't count because you can Google me. He does not. No, I'm here to have these conversations for people who don't feel comfortable, bringing up microaggressions to, to senior management, to the C-suite. All of those people who don't necessarily feel like their opinions can be fast tracked. That's the space. That's the white space. This is where we need to occupy. So I think our job is when we get to these rooms, when we get to these spaces, is to realize, hey, okay, I know that you're happy to be here with me, but how do you treat your staff? How do the people who are in the junior, how comfortable do people feel applying to this institution? What is your commitment to diversity? What does that look like? So those are the conversations that I'm having. And if they like it, they like it. And I hope they do. And if they don't, then that means that, it's just, they weren't the people at the time. I don't believe in no, and when I say I don't believe in no, I don't believe if all that means is that I wasn't supposed to work with them at this time. If someone gives me a no, I'm going to go until I get a yes from somewhere, somebody.
Right. Somebody's going to do it.
Somebody's going to do it. Only time I will say this, when I talk to college, so I've done some speaking with some colleges, and I always do say, I have to say this, guys, when women say no, they mean no. The hell no. Right. Full stop.
Right.
But besides that, it's definitely, get inspired by the boundaries, or get inspired by what seems to be a challenge, what it seems to be a proverbial ceiling, or a glass ceiling, whatever that looks like, these edges or the perimeters of the places that we feel like we can't go past. Question why? What does that look like? What work can I do? How can I educate myself? How can I start to understand the marketplace so I can see that, I have something to add to this space beyond what you can see from me, So not to talk too long, but yeah, that's kind of.
No. Listen, you don't never have to apologize for talking too long. I feel like you are a wealth of knowledge. And if most of the time people are watching this because they soak that stuff up. So definitely tell me about, because of course I'm interested in the television lane. Tell me about how American Beauty Star came about.
Okay. Yeah, man. Well, I remember I was at the Golden Globes for L'Oreal. I was in LA. And this is before I lived here. I was living in Harlem. Shout out to Harlem. Shout out to 145th, 138th Street.
Yeah.
And I was in Harlem, and in LA, and I was back at the hotel, and I remember getting a phone call from Sarah Brown. Sarah Brown at the time was the beauty director at Vogue under Anna. And she's like, hey, listen, man, I want you to meet this guy named Ross Elliott. He's the executive producer for the show American Beauty Star. I was like, stop right there. I'll never forget. I was like, sis, I can't. I don't want to do a show. And I just wasn't interested.
Why were you not interested?
I wasn't interested because I didn't want to be famous. Like, I wanted to be great. I wanted to be known, but I didn't want to go on TV for the sake of TV. Like, so like, cause I've been offered some things before, like, and it just wasn't right. I'm like, no, it didn't make sense. But she said, hey, listen, I said, well, listen, if I can be one of the producers, it's going to be a quick no for me if I can't be one of the producers. And so, so I had a meeting, I had a couple conversations, and I became a producer for season 1 and co-executive for season 2. Season 1 was Adriana Lima was the host, and season 2 was the beautiful Ashley Graham, who we love. Because we just love those women. And Christy Brinkley, I mean, we had like so many cool people. Yusai, who's an amazing photographer. Russell James, who's a great photographer as well. So yeah, we Leah, like, who's the head of Birdie. So I was in a really great company, and I did it. But only thing is, I will say, and I say, put this out there, is that it was difficult for me because I did not like that they were writing for me. And I was like, guys, let me, I love people. I love dialogue. I love to just let it flow, And when they were writing for me, I didn't feel like myself. So I don't feel like I necessarily was able to bring me fully to the project, looking back at it. But it was what it was. I learned a lot. I also saw the fact that there were not a lot of people of color on the set behind the scenes. I'm the only person of color. It's like, we're in terms of like the staff, the key grips, the guys, the lighting guys, there was no diversity. So those are questions that, you ask yourself, you ask the producers, you start to figure out from, the channels, how can we make this more multi-culti, like, so there's so much behind the scenes, guys, that we never look at that needs to be addressed as well. But yeah, so TV was cool. I have some really cool news right now is that I just signed to, no one knows this yet, the CAA, So
I'm getting breakthrough news, huh?
yeah, no. The press release comes out next week. I'm super excited about it. I have some kick-ass people over there, and I love what they're doing. I'm on their fashion division. With I'm in a great company. Kirby is there from Peter Moss. Elaine Welteroth is there as well. So I'm looking forward to it. But in terms of agents, you know, I've also been okay not having an agent and just having someone who I really love and respect do my booking and things like that. So it's so many levels to it, you know. But yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up. Okay, so what I want to ask you too is working with various women, like you learn a little bit from each person. So I'm gonna call out 3 clients.
Okay.
And I want to know, what have you taken away? And the reason why I say that, we both work with Iman.
Yes.
And
yeah,
with her, what I love about working with her is how she commands the space because she knows what she's doing.
Oh yeah.
If anybody knows, she gets in there and she tells them when the picture is gonna stop. Like the photographer will be going and she'll be like, "You got it," and you'll be like, "But I want to do." No, you got it. What how much are we gonna shoot?
Exactly.
I love things like that.
I feel like we got it. I feel like we got it. It's the quote.
Where's the next outfit? What's the next look? And you're not there all day for no reason.
No. Oh God.
Yeah.
When these girls are ready to walk, when they're done, when they know that they've given, they walk off set.
Yeah.
You know, I know my lighting is a little weird, but I wanted to say that, you know, the thing is, we've been so blessed, man, you know, we talk about, we're in women's month, you know, we talk about women's mental health, and we talk about, you know, women of color, Black indigenous people of color, but Black women are so strong, you know, and I've seen, I wouldn't trade it. I would not trade the space that I'm in, the women that we roll with, for nothing, you know, and to see them at the height of their careers, to see them, you know, basically girls do run the world. Women run the world. Like, I've seen women move mountains, you know, and then get back to their kids. Like, it's just how can you not be inspired by these women who changed and moved the needle in culture? You know, when we look at a Serena Williams, you know, or Beyonce, or like, you know, Iman, Naomi, it's just, you know, Mary J. Blige. It just becomes one of those things where this is bigger than me. I'm just thankful and grateful, and by the grace that I can occupy this space and I can tell the story, or I can see it. Yeah.
This interview was so power-packed with so much information, we had to put it into 2 parts. So be sure to come right back here to this YouTube channel, Behind the Scenes Beauty with DM. Make sure you please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And please, you don't want to miss part 2 with celebrity rock star makeup artist Sir John.